to my travel tip series, and I was really going to try to go into a different topic other than Disney, and then it dawned on me that I really should address probably the biggest question that I get asked about from every potential first-time visitor to Walt Disney World, and that is, how much should I budget for food? And is the dining plan worth it? Now, if you're going to be watching this video and hope that I actually give you a solid answer whether I think the dining plan is worth it to purchase, you're not going to get that answer, because that's an opinion. And my opinion is probably different than a lot of people that consider themselves Disney experts and Disney travel agents, and even far different than what I call the fanatics about at Walt Disney World, who are determined that the smarter person will always purchase the dining plan. I don't believe that. I don't have that opinion. But nevertheless, I'm going to stay out of the opinion arena, and I'm going to give you hard numbers that I think are going to help you budget for food while you're at Walt Disney World. And I'm also going to give you at the end of this the numbers for the dining plan, the 2012, in case you're watching this in the future, the 2012 costs for the Disney dining plans. And I'm going to be addressing the quick service and the basic as far as the cost for the Disney dining plans. And I'm going to be addressing in this video the cost for a snack, average cost for a quick service meal, and average cost for a table service meal. And these are going to be per person, because naturally these are going to vary on the amount of number of nights that you stay. They're going to vary on if you have two of you in your party or in your group, or if you have four of you, including, say, for example, 2 adults and 2 children. So that's where these costs are going to really vary. But I'm going to give you the cost for a meal, and then you can multiply that times the amount of nights that you're going to stay, and also for the amount of people in your party. So let's get into first the cost for a snack, and I'm going to give you an average cost for budgeting purposes. A snack, again, as I have addressed, are things like a soda, a bottle of water, a Mickey ice cream. In some places, a snack is actually a muffin or a cinnamon roll, or maybe a turkey leg and things like that, depending on which park you're in and which venue you happen to walk into. Some places that also have quick service meals also offer snacks, and so I need you to understand that you can go to a quick service venue and still buy just a snack. So I'm giving you the cost for a snack, and I would multiply these times 2, because the average person at Walt Disney World is going to buy probably at least 2 snacks per day, whether that's a soda in the evening or a snack to get you between lunch and dinner, etc. I would use this number and then multiply it times 2. So I would use $2.50 to $3. Those are the numbers I would use for a snack. Now, if you get into other places that have muffins and cinnamon rolls, you might round that up to $4. So let's just say a budget for a snack is anywhere between $2.50 for a beverage up to $4 for an actual food snack. Times 2 times the number of adult, and this is going to be for adult and child, so it won't matter, for the number of people in your party. Now, let's talk about quick service meals. A quick service breakfast is typically cheaper than a quick service lunch or dinner. So I'm going to give you numbers for both. If you go to, say, if you're staying at the Pop Century and you go into their food court area for breakfast, you can expect to spend anywhere between $2 for a beverage, whether that's juice or coffee or milk. I would use $2, and don't nitpick me on these and say, oh, you're 50 cents high or 50 cents low. I'm trying to give you a round number that I think is a safe number for budgeting. So I would use $2 for a orange juice, coffee, or milk, and then I would use anywhere between $6.50 and $8.50 for your breakfast entree, and that depends on if you're getting just French toast, or if you're getting maybe what they call a platter, which is say pancakes and a meat, a side item of meat, whether it's bacon or sausage, or it also may include an omelet. So I would use $2 for the beverage and $6.50 to $8.50 for the entree, and I would just use those numbers for children and adults for breakfast. Okay, you're not going to see a huge variance in those numbers whether a child, because I think you might get by cheaper if the child just wants to get a quick little box of cereal, but I think for budgeting, if I was you, I would use the numbers I'm giving you. Now for lunch, again, the beverage costs are going to maybe vary depending on which venue you go in, as some venues, some quick service venues offer a small drink, which I consider a medium now because they're large. Don't think about a small being this little teeny tiny cup, or a large drink. And so I would use anywhere between 250 and 285 for my beverages. And these are numbers that come straight from Disney. From my experience in eating in these venues, you're going to see a range between 250 and 285, depending if you go with the medium, or what I call the medium size, or up to the large size. And for your entree, again, depending on where you're at, this is going to range between $10 and $12. $10 maybe for a slice of pizza, Pizza Planet, or a hamburger inside the Magic Kingdom, one of their venues, or rotisserie chicken at Sunshine Seasons, or barbecue at Flame Tree Barbecue. I think I would personally use for my budget the drink numbers I gave you, and anywhere between $10 and $12 for the entree. And again, this is per person. The child's lunch may be a little cheaper than that. You can maybe use $9 for the entree for a child, and I would use the same beverage costs as I've given you for your budget purposes. Table service. Wow, how do you talk about table service without getting into opinions? Now, table service venues are all over the map as far as cost. You can spend a fortune at somewhere like the restaurants inside Hollywood Studios at the Brown Derby, or you can maybe spend a little bit less at somewhere like Sci-Fi or the Primetime. And I'm going to give you the number that I would use for budgeting for a table service menu, where you're actually sitting down ordering off a menu, and then I'm going to give you a number to use for buffets that are also table service venues. If you're going to sit down at a place like Primetime and order off the menu, you're going to spend about $2.50 again for a beverage. You're going to spend about, if you're into appetizers, you're going to spend about $10 roughly for an appetizer, and I'm rounding these, but I'm giving you a good budget number, so trust me. And then you're looking to spend about $20 for a good entree. And you can spend less. So I don't want to make you think you have to spend $20. Yeah, you can go to some of these places and spend less than that, but I would use $2.50 for a drink, $10 for an appetizer, and roughly $20 for your entree. That does not include gratuity. And the prices I'm going to give you for the dining plans does not include gratuity as well. So anywhere between 15 and 20% of those numbers I just gave you, you need to add for gratuity. So I'm going to just give you a ballpark. If you averaged spending or doing about 20% gratuity, you're going to spend between $38 and $42 for an adult at a table service venue. Now, does not include alcohol, because the basic dining plan and the quick service plan does not include alcoholic beverage as well. So I'm just talking about a soda or juice or something non-alcoholic for your beverage, and then your entree. And this does not include dessert. I don't want to add dessert in there, but anyway, it does not include dessert, so I'm giving you your numbers based on the appetizer and the entree and your beverage. Now, if you go to a buffet, say you're going to a character meal like Donald's Safari Breakfast or Chef Mickey, you can look to spend anywhere between $26 and $35 for those buffets, depending on the venue and depending on the character meal experience. And that a lot of times includes your beverage in the mornings for breakfast. It includes a thing like coffee or juice, etc. But I would use, for budgeting, it doesn't include a beverage for dinner, I would use $26 to $32 for your buffet. And I hope I said that consistently, but $26 to $32 for the buffet, again, not including gratuity, and about $15 for a child's buffet. And that's going to be higher in some, maybe, and lower in the others, but I think 15 is going to give you a good budget, maybe 15 to 16 for a child. And again, that's going to vary a lot. So, but I would use these numbers for budgeting. So if you have two children, and you're looking to do a couple of buffets, I would use $15 to $16 for that child, not including gratuity, and then the number I gave you, 26 to 32 for an adult. That should cover you, again, unless you go to some more elaborate, more high-end table service venues. That should give you a real good idea of how much food costs are going to be at Walt Disney World. Now, granted, you don't have to eat at a table service venue. The numbers I gave you for quick service, there are a lot of families that go to Disney, and all they do is buy quick service meals and snacks. So you can use those numbers if you're not into sitting down at a finer restaurant and getting served and having a higher end meal. You can get by for your budget. Use the the quick service numbers that I gave you. Now, let's give you the cost of the dining plans as of today. Now I'm going to round these. So again, don't nitpick me and say, well, you're off by 50, 70 cents. I'm trying to round them to give people a good idea to sit down and put pencil to paper and do a comparison whether they think it's going to be worth it for their family to buy the dining plan, assuming it's not being offered for free. If you buy just the quick service meal plan, the quick service meal plan costs $35. Again, when a granted quick service, you don't have to worry about gratuity, but $35 per adult per number of nights, and $12 for a child per number of nights. So quick service dining plan, $35 for an adult per number of nights, $12 for a child per number of nights. Basic dining plan. Again, I've already discussed, if you want to go back and look at the videos where I discussed what comes with these dining plans and the differences in credits, etc., go do that. But for the sake of numbers in this video, I would use $52 for the basic dining plan per adult per number of nights, and again $15 for a child. Now, there's not a vast difference between quick service and basic dining plans for a child. So I would use $52 and $15 for budgeting. And again, the basic dining plan, because you are going to be eating to utilize your credits at a table service venue, you need to factor in that gratuities are not included in this anymore. So $52 for an adult per night and $15 per child per night. I hope that helps. Budgeting for food is very, very important so you don't get there and find out that you're stretched a lot further than you thought you would have been. I want you to be adequately prepared that when you arrive, you have a good feel. You already know how much your resort and ticket costs are going to be, and you've already paid for that. So why not have a good feel on how much you're going to spend on food? Budget ahead of time so you can enjoy yourself when you get there and know how much money that you think you're going to spend. And then you can worry about fun stuff like souvenirs and other things that Disney would gladly take your money for when you get there. So I hope this helps. Again, ask questions, leave questions on YouTube where the video is posted, or on my blog where the video will also be linked. Or if you're also following me on Facebook on my Operation Destination page, stop by and like that if you haven't. But I also post these on there, as well as occasional Disney tips and specials and announcements and things like that, along with other travel destinations. I don't do just Disney, but it is the #1 destination for families in the world, and so I tend to spend a lot of time on helping families get prepared for their journey to the happiest place on earth. So again, thank you for your time, and I look forward to your questions.